Good day, everyone. I hope till now you must have understood what is a drone or how it works. One of the important things to know about drones is to understand both the advantages and the limitations. The reason to understand this is because many times you have an idea you feel can be solved with drones. However, without understanding what a drone can do and what are its limitations, many times the solution is force fitted onto drones. Understanding the advantages and limitations will help in analyzing whether a drone can be used as a solution for a particular idea and how. This analyzing always found to help a lot in bringing the true potential of drones when it is actually required from my experience. Let us look at the advantages and disadvantages of drones. Let's start by talking about the advantages of drones. First, quality aerial imaging. Drones are excellent for taking high quality aerial photographs and videos and collecting vast amounts of imaging data. These high resolution images can be used to create 3D maps and interactive 3D models, which have many beneficial uses. For example, 3D mapping of disaster areas can enable rescue teams to be better prepared before entering hazardous situations. Second is precision. Since unmanned aerial vehicles use GPS, they can be programmed and maneuvered accurately to precise locations. This is especially helpful in a variety of situations. In precision agriculture, for example, UAVs are used for a variety of farming needs, such as spraying, fertilizer, and insecticide, identifying weed infestations, and monitoring crop health. The precision of UAVs saves farmers both time and cost. Easily deployable. With advances in control technology, most drones can be deployed and operated with relatively minimal experience. Combined with the relatively low cost of most models, drones are becoming accessible to a wide range of operators. UAVs also have a greater range of movement than manned aircraft. They are able to fly lower and in more directions, allowing them to easily navigate traditionally hard to access areas. Security. Another plus to drone use centers on security. With the appropriate license, operators can use unmanned aerial vehicles to provide security and surveillance to private companies, sporting events, public gatherings, and other venues. Drones can also gather valuable data during and after natural disasters to aid in security and recovery efforts. Flexibility to suit a variety of missions. Depending on the capabilities and requirements of a drone, the drone can be used for a large number of missions based on its endurance and range. These missions can go right from cargo delivery to surveillance, depending on the capabilities of the drone. With advancing drone technology, even newer missions and newer applications have been made possible. Easy to share data. The data can be easily transferred from the drone to any local computer or to the cloud. This provides a lot of flexibility to work on data mining or data intensive applications after the drone comes to a halt. Ability to reach difficult places. Since the drones can be made from nano size to large size, they can be used for applications where it is difficult for humans to reach easily. For example, nano-sized drones are being designed for hazardous environments inside reactors to analyze the machine where it is very difficult for a human to reach safely. Another use of drones would be for extinguishing fires on high-rise buildings where it is difficult to immediately reach any fire situations with conventional methods. These drones can be deployed, which are capable of spraying water on fire, extinguishing foam to extinguish the fire. Real time data. One of the biggest advantages of the drones is the real-time data provided by these drones on the ground station. Due to the real-time data, it is easy to assess the situation from an aerial view and take immediate decisions or action. For example, drones can be deployed during riots to find out the gathering or entry point of people to take appropriate action. Also, the real-time data can be transmitted to various locations, enabling a multiple of authority to assess the situation and take an immediate action using the drone. These are the various advantages of using drones. As for every device who has a good number of advantages, there are disadvantages of using a drone also. First is the legalities. Since the widespread use of unmanned aerial vehicles is relatively new, this legislation is still catching up. There are still a lot of DGCA rules that are coming up as per the categories of the drones, and the rules are still being amended based on the drones. We will be discussing a lot of legalities in terms of drones at a later part of the course. Safety. Safety is a primary concern when dealing with unmanned aerial vehicles. To avoid mid-air collisions, UAVs must be programmed with sense and avoid capabilities that match those of manned aircraft. This means that drones must be able to detect a potential collision and maneuver to safety. In the event of system failures, falling drones are another serious danger, especially when they are used near large crowds. Privacy. One of the most common concerns from the public about UAVs is privacy. Drones can collect data and images without drawing attention, leading many privacy issues, especially around residential and sensitive buildings. Also, a lot of this data can also be collected on third-party servers remotely and can be misused in various of ways. Privacy of data, especially for sensitive missions, is one of the topics that is being currently worked upon extensively in the current scenario. Potential threat to surroundings. One of the biggest disadvantages of drone is its potential threat to surroundings and nearby people. A drone requires a pilot who is trained in controlling the drone. It requires a proper understanding of the aerodynamics, controls, and response. If a drone loses control during mid-flight, it can go anywhere and damage any of the nearby surroundings. The propellers are one of the dangerous parts which need to be taken care of while flying since they are rotating at a very high RPM. Hence, it is advisable for a trained pilot to fly the drones except for nano drones. Dependent on weather. Drones are very much dependent on weather. In fact, before flying, one of the pre-flight checks are assessing the weather. Drones are very susceptible to high winds or rain or dust. The drones can resist winds to particular velocities, but in higher velocities, it becomes very difficult to fly a drone. Similarly, flying the drone in rain can cause water to enter the electronic components and damage them. Therefore, before flying a drone in the outside, the environment has to be carefully assessed. Proximity to airports and key locations. Drones have been proven to be dangerous to locations such as airports or nearby aircrafts. There have been instances where the drones have flown really close to aircrafts. Drones can cause more damage to aircraft than any other warheads, since if drones collide, the individual parts itself can cause much more damage. Therefore, there is always a no-fly zone around airports. Also, other locations like hospitals have no-fly zones near them to avoid any damage to the drones. These disadvantages give an idea where drones cannot be used or what are the limitations of the drone. Further, let's look at the advantages and disadvantages of fixed wing drones to know where we can use them. First, let us look at the advantages and disadvantages of fixed wing. The advantages of fixed wing are first, The average flight time can go up to 16 hours or more, depending on the propulsion system for the fixed wing. This is especially useful for carrying missions which require more endurance. The fixed wing can also fly at high altitudes, enabling it to be used in places such as mountains or high areas. You can look up high altitude drones for understanding these drones, which are one of the requirements in the current industry. Since fixed wings are developed considering an aerodynamic approach in mind, they are much more robust and can withstand higher gusts and any operational error. In fact, many times these fixed wing drones are used autonomously because of their robust nature. Finally, they have an ability to carry more amount of weight in terms of payload as compared to any multi-rotor drones. This gives them the flexibility to carry out long endurance missions and high payload type of missions. The disadvantages of these drones first is they are very expensive. It's expensive to order a fixed wing drone as well as to make a fixed wing drone. Also, these drones do require a lot of training due to the size and speed. The pilot does need to have a proper understanding of the machine as well as enough experience to actually fly a fixed wing drone. One of the biggest drawbacks of fixed wings is it requires an area to take off. Since it has to build up the lift to take off, it requires a flat area where it can do so. Either a flat area or a movable launcher is required to launch the fixed wing. And as difficult it is for takeoff, similar difficulty it faces for landing also. It has to be landed with proper skill in order to avoid any crash or damage. And finally, as explained earlier, fixed wings cannot hover in a particular place. They need to continuously move. These are the advantages and disadvantages of a fixed wing. Now let's look at the advantages and disadvantages of a multi-rotor. One of the biggest advantages of multi-rotor drones are they are easy to control and maneuver as compared to fixed wing drones. Especially nano drones can be easily flown, whereas for higher category of drones, you do need some sorts of training and certification. Another advantage of multi-rotor is its ability to hover. These drones can hover in mid-air, providing the advantage of looking at particular location closely or carrying out part of a mission where a drone has to be stationary, such as alarming a car while drone patrolling. These drones do not require a launch pad to take off and land, since they can take off and land vertically, therefore can start their mission from any location. Once the multi-rotor is properly tuned and programmed, it is very stable in flight. Depending on the wind conditions nearby, the multi-rotor can also maintain its stability during operation. However, the disadvantage of multi-rotors are they are very limited in their flight time, which does not last more than 30 minutes. Their payload capabilities are also very limited with the size of the drone increasing a lot. One of the major disadvantages is most of the energy is spent in stabilizing the flight and working against gravity. A maximum amount of flight control and battery usage goes into stabilizing the flight depending on the environment and surrounding. These are the advantages and disadvantages of a multi-rotor drone. What we learned in this lecture today is along with the understanding whether a drone can be used based on its pros and cons, what kind of drone can be used for the particular requirement. This will be again very useful for the future when you're working on different applications. To summarize, we learned the advantages, disadvantages of a drone and a fixed wing and a multi-rotor. In the next chapter, we will be looking at the main components of a drone. Thank you.